Good morning, welcome to the Daily News podcast. Today is July 11th, 2026.
The big story this morning is the Middle East, where the U.S. is pressing Iran to publicly promise it will stop firing on ships in the Strait of Hormuz as talks prepare to resume in Oman. That matters because Hormuz is one of the world's most critical trade and oil choke points. At the same time, the rhetoric is getting even hotter. Donald Trump says orders are in place to, quote, decimate Iran if any assassination attempt is tied to Tehran, and that follows open calls at Ayatollah Ali Khamenei's funeral for Trump's killing. Put all of that together and the message is clear. Diplomacy may still be on the table, but the military threat is sitting right beside it. Markets, energy traders, and U.S. allies are watching this one very closely.
Yeah, that's the part that lands hardest. Even if nobody fires the next shot today, language like that can move oil, shipping costs, and nerves across the whole region. In Ukraine, officials say Russian forces have reached the outskirts of Zaporizhia, which would mark a serious escalation around one of the country's major cities. Emergency crews are still searching for survivors after an airstrike, and if Russia keeps pushing there, it raises fresh pressure on Ukraine's defenses in the south. Zaporizhia is strategically important on its own, but it also carries huge symbolic weight because of the nearby nuclear plant and the broader fight over territory. Bottom line, this is not just another frontline update. If confirmed and sustained, it could reshape the map of the war in a meaningful way.
Right. And it's another reminder that while attention swings elsewhere, the war in Ukraine keeps changing in dangerous ways on the ground. Moving to markets, earnings season kicks off with the big banks and some major blue chips about to report, and investors are looking for one thing above all: whether the economy is still holding up better than feared. Expectations have crept higher, so companies now have less room to disappoint. Bank numbers will be watched for credit quality, consumer resilience, and business lending, while names like Netflix and Johnson & Johnson will give a read on spending and pricing power. At the same time, there's a broader tech question hanging over the market. Investors are starting to reassess AI spending because the infrastructure bill is huge, and some are asking whether all that spending will actually pay off fast enough to justify current valuations.
That's the tension everywhere right now. The AI story is still powerful, but Wall Street is getting less patient with trust us, the payoff comes later. On the tech side, Apple has sued OpenAI, IO products, and former Apple executives, accusing them of stealing trade secrets tied to AI hardware. This could become one of the biggest legal fights in tech because it goes right to the center of the next device race: who gets to build the hardware layer for AI, and with whose ideas. If Apple can make that case stick, it could chill hiring, partnerships, and investment across the sector. If not, it may embolden rivals trying to move fast in a category that still doesn't have a clear winner. Either way, this is bigger than one lawsuit. It's a signal that the AI competition is moving from chatbots to devices, patents, talent, and hardball legal tactics.
And once the lawyers show up this early, you know the stakes are enormous. Staying with tech, SK Hynix has raised a staggering $26.5 billion in a U.S. IPO, reportedly the biggest foreign listing in American history. The company is a key supplier of memory used in AI systems, so this is really another measure of how much money is pouring into the infrastructure behind the AI boom. It also reinforces a broader point. Investors may be nervous about spending discipline, but they are still willing to back the companies selling the picks and shovels. Also in brief, EU regulators say Meta's addictive features on Facebook and Instagram may violate the Digital Services Act, and Meta has already pulled a separate Instagram AI feature after backlash over deepfake-style use of public account content.
That's a rough combo for Meta: one fight over product design, another over AI boundaries, and both go straight to trust. And to wrap up on a more hopeful note, a brain tumor vaccine is getting a lot of attention after promising long-term survival results in glioma patients. The reported numbers are small but striking. In a group of 33 treated patients, 66% were still alive after 8 years, and 42% had no disease progression. That's the kind of early medical result that gets people excited for good reason, even with all the usual caution about sample size and follow-up studies. Also in brief, researchers are pushing forward on lab-grown sperm, and dry microneedle mRNA vaccine patches could someday make vaccines easier to store and deliver.
That's the kind of science headline people actually want with their morning coffee.
That's it for today.
Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Have a great day.